Basingstoke Abbey, a 12th century monastery in Greenfield, Holywell, North Wales. This is Pod, one of the monks who lived here during that time. Perhaps he can tell us a few things about what life was like back then for the monks who lived here. Ah, yes, I'd forgotten. Pod has taken a vow of silence, meaning he doesn't speak. Now well, maybe you'll allow us to come on a journey with you. That's great, because Pod is going on a pilgrimage. That's right, Pod, you are. And you aren't going to just be travelling the distance, you're also going to be travelling through time. That's because we want to learn if people today go on pilgrimages, and if so, is it for the same reasons that you do? Don't forget to pack some items for the future, Pod. Are you ready to time travel, Pod? Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find out as many reasons why people go on pilgrimages in the future. Now, if we had a budget for this film, you'd see some sort of impressive visual effect here that... Oh, okay. Well then, Pod, time to visit the future. In Pod's time, pilgrimages were undertaken for entirely religious reasons. Today, Pod is going to follow the route of the North Wales Pilgrim's Way. Now, let's see what's changed since Pod's time. The first stop on Pod's pilgrimage is St Winifred's Well in the market town of Holywell. It has been the site of Christian pilgrimage since around 660. Legend has it that St Winifred was beheaded here, and the well is one of the 7 wonders of Wales. In Pod's time, pilgrims would have bathed in the waters of the well, believing it to have healing properties, as pilgrims still do today. Wait, look, Pod, stop. What are you doing? You can't go in the water with an inflatable pink flamingo. Please show the proper respect. The pilgrimage route passes many religious landmarks, and pilgrims today visit these historic symbols, such as the Whitford Cross, an early Christian stone cross that has links to places as far away as Cumbria. Ah, look, Pod has arrived at St Asaph Cathedral, and he's in for a surprise. In Pod's time, the cathedral was just a ruin, burnt down, and for many years used to house sheep and cows. It's quite different now. It's through the act of pilgrimage that the cathedral was able to be rebuilt. Pilgrims would have donated money or paid alms to help rebuild the cathedral. I think you'll agree, it was well worth it, Pod. Today, people still visit to attend services and pray. Maybe hang on to it for now and keep it safe. Perhaps you'll meet her again later. Pilgrims in Pod's time would buy souvenirs such as pilgrims' badges. What will Pod choose? Ah, I should have known. A t-shirt and some silly sunglasses. This is Llangelynin Old Church, a 12th century church built above the Conway Valley. The church and well are named after Saint Celynnin, whose waters were thought to have healed children. On the wall is a wooden bier used to carry coffins by hand across the hills for funerals. Now, the Pilgrim's Way arrives at Bangor Cathedral. Many consider Bangor to have the oldest cathedral in Wales. Founded in 546 AD, after Dainiol, who had founded a church on the site beforehand, was consecrated as bishop. The site's name came from the wattle enclosure around it, Bangor. These pilgrims are visiting the cathedral to explore its heritage and are taking photographs. Oh, looks like Pod is learning how to take a selfie. A pilgrimage very usually took over 2 weeks, so Pod will have to become adept at surviving outdoors. Oh dear. Don't forget about the North Wales weather pod. This is St Beino's Church, an important place to visit in Pod's time for pilgrims. St Beino's Church is on the left and the chapel on the right. The church is dedicated to St Beino, a missionary who was also uncle to the same St Winifred who the well in Holywell is named after. Oh dear. Pilgrims today also go on journeys to meet and talk to other pilgrims. Here is Pod, meeting some other pilgrims as they visit St Beino's Well. Oh dear, it seems Pod is in need of a shower after all his travels, so they introduce him to something new: deodorant. Another stop, much further down the coast, is St Beino's Church. Again? In the 6th century, this place was one of peace and solitude for Beino, a tireless missionary. It was later a hospice for pilgrims travelling to Bardsey. Today, it's still a location that many use for peace and Pod, what are you... No, look... You're just Pod, stop it. Have you quite finished, Pod? Here's someone on the pilgrimage route for another different reason. They're running the route for charity to raise money for a good cause. That's a common reason that the Pilgrim's Trail is travelled today. Oh, I think she's after your sandals, Pod. Perhaps you could do a swap. One of the draws of the Pilgrim's Way is the wildlife you can spot along the way. What's Pod found here? That's a strange device. I'm not sure you're using them properly, Pod. Pod's end goal is in sight, Bardsey Island, the final destination on the North Wales Pilgrim's Way from as far back as the 6th century. It was said that 2 pilgrimages here were worth the same as 1 to Rome. And just take a guess at how many saints are said to be buried here. It's a few more than that, Pod. Keep going. Way off. It's believed that up to 20,000 saints are buried here. No wonder it still draws people to it, even after all these centuries. Pod has made it to Bardsey Island, like many pilgrims before him. He can now enjoy the peace and tranquility of the island. Here is the cross, which marks the burial of the 20,000 saints. Hang on, Pod, where are you going? Don't forget, you have to travel back now. And so, after many weeks, Pod finally returns to his home at Basingstoke Abbey. Pilgrimage complete. Well done, Pod. However, well, remember how we said 2 pilgrimages to Bardsey were worth 1 to Rome?